Can you talk about how your bill takes a public health approach to drug use and possession?
You know, one of the most important tenets, I think there's two big pieces of the legislation that I hope gets across to my colleagues about why it's so important, is that we've got to stop penalizing and criminalizing people for usage of drugs. So this bill really hopes to essentially make using drugs a civil offense, where people may get a civil fine that could be waived if people want to do a screening. Instead of it being sort of you get caught with drugs, you go to court, you get sentenced, when you shouldn't be in jail if you need help, right? If you're addicted to drugs, or if you're just using it recreationally, or if you're having a mental health breakdown or a crisis moment, these are the moments where we actually screen people for further services versus putting them in jail. What we have is that the people making the policies are either ultra liberal or ultra conservative, right? And really don't have necessarily the lived experience that people in our communities are living with. And people have a right to be angry, you know?
Yeah.
I talk a lot to people about the crack epidemic impacted us so much, and is still felt in our families today, with missing generations who have either been evaporated or erased or killed because we did not care enough about those families, those communities, and those people to give them help. There's been a public health approach always around protecting white children.
Yes.
And white families and resource-rich communities, right? But when it comes to our kids, we haven't invested and haven't made those investments because it's expensive. You know, to eradicate poverty seems too big and too much, but really that's at the bedrock of why we haven't been responsive to this public health crisis. And so what I'm hoping to do is change the dialogue. And I just want to say to my liberal, cool friends and colleagues that our communities are not looking for saviors. They're looking for accomplices and allies in a real way. And sometimes it means shutting up. Sometimes it means standing to the side. Sometimes I think about the work that I learned during community organizing, building power, investing in resident-led leadership, teaching people how to speak for themselves, I think is going to get to the goal. Actually, I know it's going to get to the goals we want. My advice to people who want to radically look at a different system of justice, to look at a different system where we actually protect people and give them what they need and make sure their basic needs are met, is that if you're looking around a room and there's only people who look like you, who have the same pedigree as you, who come from the same communities as you, you're in the wrong room.